Hexagram 5, Erjo, and hexagram 60, Jae, share the common theme of navigating challenging periods and finding a way through difficult times. Both hexagrams feature the trigram for river or chasm, which symbolizes the idea of moving through an uncertain or treacherous path. Hexagram 5, Zhu, is translated as waiting or nourishment. It represents a time of waiting and cultivating patience, suggesting that one should focus on self-care and reflection while awaiting the resolution of a challenging situation. This hexagram encourages trust in the natural flow of events, much like water in a river, and the importance of remaining open to the lessons and growth that can emerge during difficult times. Hexagram 60, Ji, on the other hand, is translated as limitation or moderation. It speaks to the need for setting boundaries and exercising restraint in order to navigate through challenges. This hexagram suggests that imposing limits or structure can help one maintain balance and integrity during tumultuous periods. Both hexagrams emphasize the importance of navigating difficult times with patience, reflection, and setting appropriate boundaries. They serve as reminders that even when we are counting the days or minutes to get through a trying period, there is value in learning from the experience and maintaining a sense of balance and integrity throughout the journey.
This is the next pair that we're going through. Again, we started at a low number and a high number, and we're moving to meet in the middle. With hexagram 5, which often means waiting or moistened, it speaks to a gestation period or a fertilization period, very much related to life. Because in life, really, in some ways, we're waiting to die, or waiting for something to go wrong, or waiting for something to go right. In this hexagram, the sky is supporting that journey, that purpose of the river. It's moist and it's ready. It's ready for something to happen, to give birth to something. And we can be impatient. We can be impatient to move before the soil is moistened, before the canvas is ready. And when we're counting days or counting minutes until we get through a difficult period or until something that we like happens, there can be a difficulty in waiting. It points to the fifth ray on the Azoth chart with the two birds in the tree waiting for the new egg to hatch. And then 60 is very similar. In hexagram 60, we have the same trigram on top, but now instead of sky, the third line becomes yin instead of yang, and so it's lake. And lake has to do with, at least in the system we're using, limits and understanding. So if you have lake feeding into that purpose or that journey, if you have that understanding and that sense of limit feeding into the journey, then you can moderate, then you can restrict. And you may not want to, right? And maybe something else is bringing that to you. If we look at this from the perspective of a dualistic God, I'm not saying this is true, but just to explore it, that there's a being above that is watching us. Again, just a traditional religious view. But you can say that it's waiting to see whether we will find compassion, whether we will sense unity, whether we will feel connected to ourselves and to others. And maybe observing the limits and the understanding that may or may not, the moderation that may or may not impact an individual. Now you might say, well, if God is omnipotent and omniscient, then how could that be so? And perhaps, again, to just play out this idea that God is that ultimately, but that there are sub-gods or sub-routines or portions that willingly forget what is going to happen in order to make the observation of life more real. And the way to do that, obviously, is to become a person, to live through each person's life. And And in that, see how waiting and moderation are dealt with, or how waiting and moderation are initiated. These two hexagrams, they will listen to it, is perhaps a call towards being patient and to, as we said yesterday, with respect to hexagram 4 and 61, the observation of taking authorship of thoughts. And when we're taking authorship of thoughts, when we believe I'm authoring these thoughts, then we may not like moderation or limit, or we may rush to moderation and limit as if we invented it, and we suggested it, we imposed it. And the same with the waiting. We may feel some thoughts coming up about waiting, liking it or not liking it, anticipation. But if we remember the lesson that we spoke of yesterday, we can just be compassionately aware of that rush to authorship but not claim it.
Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om 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 Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om